Recording. Hi, so this is Carrie Johnston, and today I am joined by Katie Johnson, and I'm coming in today from the traditional territory of Champagny-Jack First Nation in beautiful Haines Junction, and Katie is joining us from Whitehorse on the traditional territory of Kwanlin First Nation and on Christian Council. Welcome, Katie.
Hi, thank you for having me today.
I'm so happy that you're here. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Yeah, well, I'm a member of the Kluane First Nation out in Burwash and Wolf Clan. My traditional name is Lasänmå. And yeah, I do work from Whitehorse, and I do all sorts of different things in the community, but primarily I'm an event organizer, producer. I've had the honor and privilege to be a part of many incredible celebrations, gatherings, and festivals across the Yukon and the North.
I know I've attended some of your events and you do an incredible job. There's such heart and storytelling and all that you do.
Thank you so much. And I think that's where we first met too, in Haines Junction when we had the economic summit. So I also do conferences, meetings, different retreats. So it's really about just bringing people together. And my current role, I'm the Director of Arts for Yukon First Nation Culture and Tourism. The vision is to create opportunities for Indigenous artists, people, communities, and businesses within the arts, culture, and tourism industries. So that's been an incredible opportunity to work with such an incredible team, as well as a really amazing board of directors.
So there's sort of two facets of what you're doing, the work with Indigenous tourism and culture, and then your event planning business, the Bella Elite. Is that correct?
Yep, Bella Elite, yeah.
I imagine that you've seen quite a transition in the work that you're doing with Bella Elite right now. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happening in your business there?
Well, I mean, really at the end of the day, everything, because of COVID, everything is closed for 2020. Of course, we just made an announcement that we will be postponing Adäka Cultural Festival this year, which is really sad because our team has been really working hard and every year. So the Adäka Cultural Festival is a 7-day Indigenous arts festival that brings together close to, I think last year we had close to 150 or more visual and performing artists. And it's just an opportunity for all the communities to come together and share new songs, culture, visual arts. So this year we plan to have, it's the 10th year celebration. So going back to how this all started, it was with Charlene Alexander, who's currently the executive director. We started this work 10 plus years ago with the 2010 Winter Olympics. And so it was just this beautiful ripple effect of having opportunities for Indigenous artists, cultural leaders to come together. And then we started the Adäka Cultural Festival, and it's just been growing every year. So this year we had this huge plans to have a celebration of nations, where we just wanted to bring Canada in and invite First Nation, Métis, Inuit, like to come to the Yukon, and so we can cross share and do collaborations. So unfortunately, we're not doing that this year, but we still have the vision of still doing a big celebration to celebrate the 10th year anniversary.
So there'll be something coming. It's just going to look a little different than it used to.
Yeah, most definitely. And then on the event side of things, I mean, it's really unknown right now with COVID. I think I mentioned to you, like, everything's shut down here. So we're just sort of sitting tight and seeing what is going to evolve in the next couple months. So yeah, it's a very interesting time because, like, the work that I do is really about bringing people together. and we can't do that right now. So it took me a couple weeks to sort of process what that looks like moving forward, but it's really given me some time to sort of reflect and look at really doing some planning in regards, because we're so busy all the time and we're moving and we're doing this, we don't have time to just like sit and reflect and revise and kind of look at how we can do things better. So we're really forced to do that.
Mm.
Yeah.
There sort of is this pause that has happened right now, and that opportunity to reflect. So in that reflection, what are you learning about yourself as a leader right now?
Well, the one thing about the work that I do is it's definitely, it's not, I always say to people, it's not a career, it's a calling. So I really feel like any work that I do is aligned to who I am as an Indigenous person, you know, my values, and it really needs to be aligned to that. So when I'm looking at sort of what is happening all over the world and here in this context, really just digging deeper into those values of like strength and resiliency and like connection. And one of the words that keeps on coming up for me is like that whole co-creative aspect of the work that we do is how can we support one another. And I think it's always been like that within our communities, or how I was raised. We always supported each other. And so it's nice to see that played out around the world. And so I feel like just being flexible and open to how things are. We don't have control over what's happening, and we only have control of how we deal with it. And so just checking in with our team, with our like with businesses, stakeholders. How are you doing? How can I help? Like, I'm really seeing all that being played out. So it's nice to see that.
Yeah, I find even in my own work, like I'm developing new relationships with people, and deeper and more meaningful relationships with people in many ways, as we ask each other for help or learn more about their situation.
Yeah, well, and I think that's one thing about the Yukon is it is a really close knit community, and we're all connected, and we're all impacted the same, you know, not the same, but we all have to deal with restrictions and what we normally do and what this new normal looks like.
Mhm.
But the one thing that I see is like everyone is being respectful to one another. And so it's something that I see and I acknowledge, and some of the stuff that we want to incorporate within the work that we want to continue. So with YFNCT, we meet every day just to check in with one another. How are you doing? And what's your workload? We're still moving on. So I'm working from home. Of course, I think we're all kind of zoomed out with the Zoom meetings that we have, but and then of course I have my daughter Bella, and school's out, so we're all doing our best. So we're kind of leading, and we're also learning. So this whole technical aspect of like connecting virtually and what that looks like and who the audience is. And so there's this huge like learning curve, I think, that we're all learning.
Mhm.
So our team's really developing sort of a 3 to 6 month plan, and like, how do we still like go see the mission, the vision of what we want to achieve, of helping Indigenous artists, helping businesses, helping communities, like in any capacity, because there's so much information that we're absorbing like every single day, and just creating supportive, so still creating safe and supportive space for that learning to happen and to make that connection. So in the next couple of months, we'll be rolling out, workshops for artists, We have a brand that we're going to be launching. It's the Yukon First Nation arts brand. So it's promoting indigenous artists, and working with them to, more exposure across, like, there's still so much projects we can still do.
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to be innovative, but also realistic. And like, I'm always like, let's do this, let's get to work. But now I'm like revising my way of thinking, and be like, slow and steady, like, wins the race. Because we may be in this for a while.
I feel like that's something that what you just said really resonates with me, because I think a lot of the time as entrepreneurs, we're always looking for our next opportunity. We're like, let's jump, let's do this. That's what makes us entrepreneurs. But also just like being mindful of taking that extra breath, and taking the approach a little bit slower, because the world is changing so quickly all around us that we need to be conscious of that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But there's opportunity too. I mean, I think one of the things is like, what I'm finding through this process is like how important relationships are, and how important relationships are everything. And I mean, I've always known that. I'm so grateful to have so many different connections, and we all do here in the Yukon. But really focusing on strengthening those relationships, and not recreating. There's a lot of things that are amazing opportunities that are happening here in the Yukon. So connecting with them to see if we can like cross promote, or support them in what their vision is, and kind of, so it's a nice flow. And really just connecting the dots with one another, and see, like, is we all have something to give, right? And we all want to help, and we all want to be supportive, which is such a beautiful thing, especially in this time where my daughter, I'm just like, she's just going on her day, and I'm just like, we're living in a pandemic. Like, I never thought that we would be in this position, but we are. So it's how we deal with it I think is really important. And of course, with kindness and with respect.
What is your wellness practice? How are you kind of keeping yourself grounded and able to move with wellness and respect? With kindness and respect.
Yeah. What? Yes, the word grounded is good. Well, of course, establishing a routine. So I've been really mindful of like what my work commitments are, my commitments to, being a school teacher. Well, not really, but really, my commitments to, being a daughter and a sister, like all these things that we still have to like fulfill in roles in our lives. I think it's just like just going out, like, not that I do spend a lot of time. I go out to Kluane, the lake, the mountains, like it really feeds my soul. And so and that's really important. It's just like that reconnection of land. But really being mindful of like mind, body, and spirit. And I've been sort of going down this like road anyways of like, there's more to life, and so it's just slowing things down a little bit and accepting what is. And yeah, just connecting with family, like even though we're still doing like virtual Zoom meetings with like friends, but just it's so important to still be connected to people, even if it's through the phone. Mm-hmm. They had my auntie's 91 birthday in Burwash, and of course she can't have visitors, but every single person in the community drove by her house and like honked their horn and like happy birthday. And So it's important that we just acknowledge the people in our life and know that it's going to be okay. Like, I think letting go and embrace, I like to know what's going on. I don't know what's going to happen, but focus on doing our best every day, and not be so hard on ourselves if we're having a bad day or a low productive day, or it's really about just finding that balance. Mm-hmm.
What advice, I'm just sort of thinking about all of those artists that you sort of help bring together. A lot of your work is sort of about building these relationships and all these connections. And while you're talking to me, I'm thinking, okay, well, like, because of the Advancing Indigenous Tourism Conference, I bought these earrings and I wear these earrings and they make me feel this way. You know, it reminds me of the event that I experienced with you, and a connection to the artist. And all of the earrings that I have recently, like, are because somebody's helped me build connection with an emerging artist. So what advice do you have to emerging artists who maybe had kind of laid out a bunch of plans for the next year on how to expand their business and grow their clientele? What sort of advice do you have for them right now?
Well, I think every artist is unique and different communities, different. But what I'm seeing right now and what's rolling out is there's an incredible amount of support. So we've opened our doors, like Yukon First Nation Culture and Tourism has been really active in connecting with artists to say, hey, like, there's funding for different projects, or if you have an idea. So we've been just putting it out there to say, look, just ask for help and we'll help. Like, we'll do anything to support artists at any time, regardless of COVID. But there's definitely more like funding available for both artists and businesses. So we've been trying to connect and let people know about those funding supports. But really a time to kind of, I think for what we're doing is like thinking outside the box in terms of, things that we talked about, but we're like, it just, we are talking about maybe an online store just in the interim to help artists sell their work. Something that we would normally do at Adäka, you have the gallery. Or the marketplace, like we had all these spaces and platforms for artists to sell their work, to demonstrate, to be a part. So we are trying to think outside the box, but really, like, I guess my message is just like, just ask for help. And like, it's just not, there's so many different levels of government that wants to make sure that local businesses are supported, that there's opportunities to like recover from this, because it's within it's within ourselves. Like, being an artist, and this is what I witness and I get to be a part of, is to see that beauty and the unique gifts that they have to share. It's within us. COVID will never take that away. There's always that gonna be there, right? So we're just trying to figure out a plan to support artists during this time, so that when we have Adäka again, or when we have all these incredible gatherings that are happening, I think it'll just be much like richer. And I'm excited to see what happens after this, because I feel like more people will want to just are more engaged and wanting to learn more.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Any aha moments for you? Like any real things like clicking in your mind over the last couple of weeks as you've been reflecting and transitioning?
I think it's interesting. I mean, I have different moments of like, I never thought of it that way. And but what I'm loving and seeing is, I can go on social media and see a message from respected elders. there's so much sharing that's happening. And what's really amazing is to see across Canada, the sharing that's happening. And so I've been just learning every single day. I'll see if there's any programming or virtual circle happening, and we have access to that. And so you learn so much by just tapping into what's happening now. And just being like, sort of, it's interesting though, it's just like kind of being just more that diversity, right? Like Canada, the world, we're so lucky to live here, and in terms of our safety and where we're at, um and same with our communities, like everyone's working so hard to make sure that we're all safe. And if that means we have to have things shut down for a while to protect that bubble, I feel like we're going to rebound. Like I know it, because we are so resilient and we're so strong. And the strength of our people is we're going to come through this. And that message of hope, and that message of just being positive, or not. If you're going to have a crappy day, have a crappy day, but knowing that we're all going to be in this together, and we're going to come through this together.
That's beautiful. Any songs, music, podcasts, books, anything that's like keeping you going?
Wow. You can download actually like meditation from, I've been really exploring that. I'm like, this is actually really cool. So like just different meditation, guided meditation. So I find that really helpful. I read, it's from Richard, I don't know if you can see it, it's called Embers. And brilliant author, Richard Wagamese, and he's Ojibwe. And he has like quotes or just like a reflection every day.
Oh.
So it's an incredible book. So I just sort of, before I start the day, I'll just like open a page and just have a reflection of what is said. Yeah, it's an interesting time, but lots of music, having fun, right? We need to have more fun in our life. So Bella's, of course, got a new bike, and so she wants to go biking, and she wants to do this and hiking, and there's still so much that we can still do safely. And yeah, so yeah, I'm really happy that we got a chance to connect today.
Yeah, me too. It's always, my heart is always full when I speak with you. You've got a loving way, and so I'm really grateful that you took the time with us today.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Okay, bye.